Ah, man. Aren't you tired of pulling up to car shows and getting laughed out for having rep wheels? Real wheels are expensive, hard to find, and not everyone can afford them. Luckily, Facebook Marketplace does exist, but as we all know, every Facebook Marketplace deal has a catch. In today's video, we're gonna show you how to take your neglected Facebook Marketplace 3-piece wheels and turn them into the masterpiece they once were. These are my Work VSXX 3-piece wheels. I actually bought these wheels off of Facebook Marketplace a couple of years ago. I rebuilt them myself and made them this nice powder-coated white finish. But since then, the silicone started leaking because I used a cheap silicone. Now I have to rebuild them again, and this time I'll use the proper silicone to do it. So let's get into the tools that we need in order to rebuild these wheels. We'll start off with the socket. This socket is used for all 40 bolts that are around the wheel. This is a 5/16 socket. It's a triple square. Your wheels might be a little bit different, but this is what Work uses. Then the backing of those wheels actually has a 10 millimeter. So I have this 10 millimeter wrench with a ratcheting portion on it. And I also have this ratchet and extension just so I don't scrape up or hit the wheels by accident while using that socket. With all the bolts out, then we'll actually go ahead and grab this knife. These two knives will help us remove all the silicone. This one's good for cutting through it. This is good for removing all the silicone. Thank you, Tony. I stole this off my cameraman. He might want it back later.
Hey, no.
When we move on to reassembly, we'll need obviously good silicone. The recommended silicone that I've been told through people online, who knows how accurate it is GE's Supreme Silicone. This is basically lifetime guaranteed, no mold, very flexible, very good for anything like that. And obviously we're gonna need a silicone gun, or caulking gun is what I need right here. And then just some brake clean to clean everything off before we put the silicone. We don't want any contaminants, oils, or anything affecting the silicone when we lay it down. I'm actually gonna take it a step further and actually polish my lips while they're off of the wheel. It might be a little bit harder to do, but I'll be able to get to all those hard to reach areas. Now, what I'm gonna use to polish these wheels, I'm gonna start off with using Parts Avatar's Elite Clay Glide, which is our clay lubricant, and our very own Elite Clay Bar. This will make it nice and easy to get off any contaminants off the wheels before we get into polishing. As for the polishing component, we're gonna get some polishing pads. I have a variety of different pads I'm gonna use in conjunction with my 90-degree drill. If you don't have one of these or a polisher or anything like that, you can also do this by hand, but it's much easier with these tools. And last but not least, we want to utilize some sort of metal polish. In this case, I'm just using some alloy scrub, but you can use anything that's on the market. All right, disassembly, pretty easy, just be very careful. I go from the top because if you're going from the bottom, that's when I recommend you put a little cloth and work downwards. But if you're working from the top, you have gravity kind of pulling down on your ratchet, so you don't have to worry about it hitting the top. And then you go from the back, following, and just undo each one bit by bit. So, there we go. And then we go bit by bit, and each one by one. So we're gonna time lapse this because this is gonna take quite some time. Now that we've taken all basically 40 bolts out, we can go ahead and actually remove the face off the wheel. So let's slide it up and out. Oh, it's been in there for 2-3 years. I bet factory wheels that have been sealed from new, the face will not come off that nicely. So let's move this over, put this aside. What we're gonna do now is actually cut off the silicone. If you might think that the wheels are held in with just the 40 bolts, you are correct. The silicone is not meant to hold the wheel together, but it's actually meant to keep any air or water or anything that's inside the wheels leaking outside or inside, basically. So it's just basically a protective layer and sealing that seam in between. So let's just start by cutting straight through it. So we take our box cutter X-Acto knife, and we start cutting all the way around. So we're gonna do 2 full cuts like this, all the way around to split the wheel, and then we have to remove all the remaining silicone using the other box cutter knife that I stole from Tony. That one's not really a box cutter knife, it's It's a blade. It's a razor blade with what? What would you say that?
You could do so you do
Razor blade with a handle. So that way I can slide it all off nicely. So on this wheel, I cannot see any high or low spots where it might be leaking, but on the other wheel that I've already taken apart, I did see some high and low spots where the leak could have been more visible. Now that we've done the two initial cuts, we can either start splitting it. Oh, there we go. Split nice in half. So a little razor, a little love, or anti-love, and they're split apart. So now we want to take the other scraper, the razor, or whatnot, and actually just cut and clean off all the remaining silicone. So let's do one side at a time. Start with the barrel. Put the lip aside. Make sure it doesn't get damaged anywhere. Now go ahead, steal your cameraman's tools, and use your scraper, razor edge, and start just, look how satisfying that looks. We should just do this ASMR, huh, Tony? ASMR wheel rebuilding. So we want to scrape off. We're going to do multiple coats here because obviously in one cut we won't get everything off. As much as I'd like to say I'm a pro at rebuilding wheels, I am not that big of a pro. Look how nice that's coming off. Comes off nicer than, I don't know, Tony's burger off the grill. You get any good at grilling?
Never grilled in my life.
Let's also not forget to clean off the mating surface. I'm taking my little scraper, cleaning it off, making sure that there's no silicone or other contaminants in between here because we want it nice and clean. And then we're going to run through it with some brake clean to make sure that any silicone that will be here in between this mating surface adheres correctly and actually creates a seal so no water gets in or air gets out, because that's the last thing we want in our three-piece wheels. Remember to use some brake clean to clean off the actual mating surfaces. We don't want any residue anywhere or anything like that, like oils, fingerprints, or remaining silicone. So let's spray it down, clean it off properly so that when they do go back together, it's nice and clean. Some people say you can sand these to get any of this like residue off, but I wouldn't recommend it because if you sand too hard, you risk making the mating surface not flat and even. And that's the last thing you want because you want your wheels to be as flat and even as they can be. So let's just clean this off properly and clean off the lip and go from there. Now that we've completed the barrel, we can move on to removing the silicone on the lip. Same process, grab your scraper and scrape off all that silicone. Look how nicely it's coming off. It looks like Jell-O. Tony might eat it. He's kind of hungry. Yum, yum, yum. Removing all this dirty scum. With the silicone all removed and the lip separated, I'm going to actually polish it now. To start off the polishing process, I just have a bucket with some soapy water. I'm going to clean off the lip. Then I'm going to clay bar the lip and polish it a bit. So let's get any of that high-level dirt off first. Yuck, yuck, yuck. And get to clay barring and polishing. With the lip cleaned and washed off, we're going to use our Elite Clay Bar as well as our Elite Clay Glide to clay bar off this lip before we get to polishing. There's obviously a whole bunch of contamination at the bottom. That's what we'll actually go ahead and take off. So we're going to spray down the whole lip with this good old clay luber. Spray down our little clay bar and get clay barring. So simple as that. You'll see in a second when we get to the bottom. I want to do the clean part first so I don't have to pick up any of that junk at the bottom, but that's where we'll see a lot of the progress. Look at that blackness. These wheels are white, not black, so Let's try our best to keep it white. Now that we've clay barred the whole lip, we can go ahead and just grab one of our pads, grab some metal polish, put the metal polish all around. You can either do this one of two ways. You're going to shake this up. One of two ways, apply it on the pad. Boom, boom, boom. And then apply it all around. I am starting with one of my softer pads to just see if it needs a light polish, a heavy polish, or whatnot, before we continue with the other pads. On the other one, I went ahead straight with my little wool pad here, and it seemed a little bit too aggressive, and it needed a wet sand. I'm not going to wet sand these because I don't have the time to do so, so I'm just going to hit them with the black pad and see if it needs a harder pad or not, and go from there. Now that these lips are all polished up, nice and clean, let's head to reassembly. First, we want to align the lip with the barrel. Once this is all aligned and straight and fancy, all around, let's see. We want to go get the face. To the face, to the face. Who said that? There was a YouTuber that used to say that. Oh, Tabes. I don't know if you watch Tabes. He used to say that. YouTuber, Call of Duty boy. Tony didn't play Call of Duty. I did.
I played Halo.
I played a lot of Halo. You know what? Before I put this back in, let me just clean off the back of this. I don't think I did yet, just to be safe. All right, now that we have the barrel all cleaned off, we have the lip polished and ready, and the face all cleaned off. Oh, hello, friend. Hello. We can put on this face onto the barrel and lip combination. So let's put this on, and then we have to go ahead and put the bolts. So it's very important to keep the bolts going in a star pattern. We want them to be torqued down and the face to sit evenly down onto the basically combination so that when the wheel is put together, everything has the correct clearance, is flat, and there won't be any weird vibrations or imbalances or anything like that. So we're going to go and put one bolt in here at the beginning and then one bolt in at the back. And this is going to be the fun part where there's going to be a lot of work needing to be done, as we have to insert the bolts and nuts from the top down. Because the way we took them out is the wheel was facing forward. We can't do that anymore because we need this to be pressing downward, not sideways, because we don't want to run into any issues of this being unbalanced or uneven. So let's get into it. Let's grab a bolt, put her in, and just get going from there, I guess. Our wheels are all torqued up and ready to get silicone. So we have this silicone right here. Online, I was told to use GE, General Electric Silicone 2. They're either advanced or supreme line of silicones. These are the best as they hold the best, they last the longest, and they're a brand name. Last time what I used was some, I think, DAP, no-name brand. So this time we're gonna use the proper stuff so I don't have to rebuild them anytime soon from them just leaking. So let's cut our little spout here and get to siliconing, eh?
Eh?
Yeah, eh?
Triple A, you know? AAA. Oh, AA.
Let's grab our silicone that has prematurely blown up here and put it all the way down, making sure to get
I also
deep.
have that problem.
Oh boy. I'm going to finish caulking here, and I'm going to make sure that the silicone is applied evenly, so then I'll show you how to even it out in just a few moments. Hello, Earth. What we want to do here is grab our finger, push it in, and all in throughout so that it is nice and even. you will have some excess in spots. The main idea here is to make sure to have enough silicone inside the mating surface. So there's gonna look like I have a lot of residual here, but we're gonna put that back up at the top afterwards. So push it in properly to actually create the seal. Here I may have gone a little bit too light with my hand, so we'll just put some back up here and we'll keep going. So I had a little mishap of pulling the wheel towards me too quickly.
Okay.
So Ishpinder, I'm sorry. I need another shirt.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, if you go too quick and you push too hard,
Bad things
in
may
the hole,
happen. Yeah.
that'll happen.
Yeah, exactly. So make sure that your fingers are going through evenly, not too deep, because too deep is, it can cause things to go bad.
Ah, you're teasing me. Naughty, naughty.
I can't take this seriously. I have the humor of a 13-year-old boy, okay?
Now we're gonna grab our piece of cardboard, or you can use a credit card, one of those drywall spatter things, and we're just gonna go ahead and pick up any excess along the sides and try to even it out in the center so that we have a nice even line. As you can see there, that's kind of helping us achieve that. And then in any low spots, we'll refill it in a bit. As you can see, I had a lot of excess silicone I had to take off, but it's all flattened, evened out. Now, the next step here is to let this cure for the next 24 hours before installing tires. So let's let it just do that, and I'm gonna get to work on my second wheel. And we'll see you when that's all done and this silicone is dry. Tony, you want some?
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Our three-piece wheels look beautiful as ever. They've completely changed the look of this car.
But that is a different car.
Hey!
Oh. Thanks for watching today's video. Catch us in the next Parts Avatar video.
Remember, Parts Avatar has got your back, so don't forget to subscribe to the Parts Avatar channel so you don't miss any of these exciting videos.